The Children in the Walls by J.T. Lawrence. The rain comes down in a hot sheet, a wall of water that seems intent on keeping me out of the house. I fight through it, soaking my hair and thin t-shirt. My shoes are squelching silicone. Lightning scratches silver into the sky and shocks the old house with its blue-white light, electrifying the air as if it's saying, "Danger, stay out." I push myself forward regardless. I need to get in. The children are in there, alone. A river of rainwater gurgles against my ankles. I dream of dry clothes and something to eat, something dry and crispy and warm, to counter the sogginess, the water dripping from my hair and nose. Then I realize the children will be hungry too, but I haven't brought any food along with me. My hunger mixes with dread now, a hunger dread, and the combination makes my stomach twinge. Eventually, I push through the force field of weather so determined to keep me out, and I stumble to the front door. The rain doesn't give up. Even under the shelter of the veranda, it lashes at my legs and back, as I jiggle the doorknob and bash the heel of my fist on the door. "Hello?" I shout. "Hello?" But the storm is thundering all around me, following me as if I am a lightning rod, as if it wants to smother me, or better, get right inside me. A dark grey cloud intent on swarming down my throat and into the brittle ribcage that is aching from containing my racehorse of a heart. "Hello?" The door is locked, and no one will hear me knocking, but I need to get in. I go back into the storm, into the mud and sodden weeds that used to be a garden, and find a rock. As I reach my hand out to pick it up, a bolt of lightning shears the air in front of me, and I can't help shouting in shock. My body reverberates with adrenaline. I lift the rock. It feels warm in my hands, as if the current had struck it directly and bestowed some kind of dark magic. A totem, a magnet, a dirty charm. I carry it to the front of the house and smash a window pane with it. Then I take off my t-shirt, wrap it around my hand, and brush away the leftover daggers of glass. I force my body through the small frame, shucking my torso on the way through. The hornet stings of glass on skin make me cry out, but the pain is worth the ticket in. I land on old timber floors, dusty and dry, and wonder whether I should put my wet shirt back on. My pale, frayed skin is bleeding in long crimson ribbons, so I decide against it, and hang the wet cotton on the banister at the bottom of the stairs. The dripping sound it makes forces the hair on the back of my neck to turn to needles. "Kids?" I call. "Abby? Chris?" The storm sounds as loud inside the house as it was outside, and the blue flashes are just as bright. Calling for the kids won't help. I'll have to search. I don't want to go up the stairs, so I'll start downstairs, and hope they're tucked snugly in front of the TV, eating cookies and drinking warm, milky tea. Chris loves his tea. Always has. He likes to crawl into my lap to nick my last tepid sip. Walking along the passage, I avoid the broken floorboards and grimy walls. Without warning, a small black shadow darts into my hair. I shriek and try to comb it out. I feel its feet scramble on my scalp as it struggles to escape the moving cage of my fingers. Its wings flutter frantically, trying to get free, but its panicked movements only serve to tangle it more. I breathe in the animal's panic, and a shot of adrenaline heats my veins. I grab a pair of steel scissors from the writing desk and put the cold metal close to my scalp, cutting the hair that is trapping the baby bird, hoping not to injure it. I cut, and tresses of my damp hair fall onto the floor around me, layered with small dirty feathers, and then eventually the bird is free. It shoots away, leaving me breathless, gripping the glinting blades of the scissors in the dim passage light, my limbs trembling, my scalp shorn. My breath is shaky as I enter the TV lounge, but the children aren't there. Stuffed toys lie abandoned on the stained carpet. The hunger dread is gnawing at my insides, growing bigger, stronger. The TV lies smashed on the floor. I try to flick on the lights, but somehow I know before touching the toggle that the bulbs won't come on. I jiggle it up and down anyway, just to be sure. The house remains dark, apart from the flashes of blue current radiating through the windows. "Kids?" Deep down, I know they will not answer, just as I knew the light bulbs would not wake up. I make my way into the kitchen, dreaming of finding them there, huddled at the kitchen table, spilling sweet cereal onto the old green embroidered tablecloth I'd inherited from my mother. They're not in the kitchen. I put the scissors down and open the snack cupboard to see if there's anything I can eat to stave off this creeping, grasping dread I have clawing at my intestines. Something to feed the children. The hinge groans as I open the door, and I move closer to inspect the contents. Something jumps at me, and suddenly there are animal horns embedded in my face. Shocked and confused, I think the bird is back, but then I realize this thing is furry and has needles for claws. I scream and scrabble to get it off, and it squeals in my ear. Fright sucks the breath out of my lungs. Whiskers perforate my inner ear, and talons shred my eyelids and cheeks. The rat doesn't let go. I scream louder and squeeze it, hoping to stun it into releasing my face. And as I apply pressure, the creature lands a vicious bite underneath my eye. My body wants to explode with horror and adrenaline. Its teeth are dirty razors. Its teeth are dirty razors. Its whiskers scuttle in the most tender parts of my ear. I have no choice but to squeeze harder. My hands are shaking, but I use all my strength to crush the attacker's body in my hand. Its squeal gets louder, and then off-key, and then there is a wet popping sound, and the squealing stops, and it finally lets go. I don't want to know what the popping sound was. I swallow hard, tilt my head back, close my eyes, and pour the sodium hydrochloride over my face. The bleach is like a hot knife on my broken skin, and I hiss in pain as it bubbles over the fine cuts and needle claw holes. When the stinging starts to settle, I use a soft orange cloth to wick away the excess and dry my eyes, which are stinging from the chemicals. When the next flash of lightning lights up the kitchen, I see my reflection in the fridge door. I don't recognize the face that stares back at me. Bleeding, swollen, wild, eyebrows bleached silver, and a new stripe of white at my crown of jagged hair. The light disappears as quickly as it appeared, and I am once again in the dark. I need to find the children. They're not downstairs. I've been avoiding climbing the stairs, but now I don't have a choice. The hunger dread is now throttling me from the inside. Each step I take makes it worse, as if my anxiety is a creature trying to escape the confines of my stomach, a kraken intent on breaking out of my body and this house. Once it's free, it will slither out of the front door and find its way home. Will that be the greasy black mud that surrounds the house, forever threatening to swallow it up? Or will the creature be whipped up by the wind and find its home in the grey, swirling clouds? I blink away the futile wondering, the useless thoughts. I ignore the kraken's sucking tentacles on my insides, and I keep climbing up the stairs. I reach the top floor, and the storm roils outside. Abigail's room is empty. Her giant teddy bear is disemboweled and missing an eye. The bear's stuffing coats everything in the room, like snow. I have the urge to stop and look through her things. I want to smell her clothes and touch her soft security blanket to my face. But instead, I force myself to continue, to turn my back on the bleak snowscape that is her room. Christopher's room is empty too. I step inside, and a cluster of spiders scatter, finding shelter in his cupboard, under his bed, and in his wooden toy box. The model plane that used to hang from the ceiling lies smashed on the floor. The little hope I have streams out of my body. It's a tangible sensation, as if it's pulling my spine out from the back of my neck, and I collapse on the dirty floor and sob into the dust. I cough and splutter and try to keep the vomit from spilling out of my mouth. I want to shout, "What happened?" but I know it will be of no use. I've been through this before, this turgid grey nightmare. A nightmare, yes, but it's not a dream. I know what it is, and I must keep going until I find my toddler and my baby. Then I hear them calling me. "Mama," says Abigail. "Mom, Mom," says Chris, and I jump up off the floor and run towards the sound. In my hurry, I trip over a lifting floorboard and go sprawling down the passage, stitching my palms with fine splinters. Beads of blood appear. I deny the pain and keep going. "Mom," says Chris. "I'm here," I shout. "I'm here! I'm here! Where are you?" I look in the linen cupboard and the children's bathroom, but they aren't there. The storm screeches outside, and there is a crack of lightning, and that's when I see them. Or I see their shapes anyway. Like silhouettes, but more solid. The children are in the walls. I throw myself against the painted plaster and brick, trying to touch them, trying to wrestle them free from the house that has imprisoned them. My hands leave crimson smears on the walls, hieroglyphics of terror. "Abby," I shout, and my baby starts to wail. I smash my burning fists against the bricks, trying to break through. "Chris!" Chris doesn't try to break through the wall. He stands there, with his arms at his sides. I need to find something to open the wall with. I don't have an axe. I don't even have a butter knife. I think about the scissors downstairs, but then I remember that they don't let us keep anything sharp here. I so desperately need to see them, hug them, feel their sweet scented skin on mine. But they are just out of reach. I cry and pound the walls. Both the children are crying now. "No, Mama," says Abigail. "No." She is sobbing and gurgling. I remember her thrashing against me in the water. The rain pours. Chris is quiet. He's gone. He was first to go. Because at 3 years old, he was the eldest. Abby disappears from the wall now too. Both quiet now. Forever. I'm on the floor and I crawl to my bedroom where the dust is as thick as a carpet. I haul myself up and fight my way through the yellow police tape. It threatens to slither around my body and squeeze me, strangle my flesh, but I struggle against it and win. My prize is access to my bathroom, which brings everything back in striking detail. Suddenly, the lights are on, and the house is no longer decrepit. There are colours in this world. A yellow rubber duck, a big bottle of pink bubble bath, striped towels, and pastel unicorn and rainbow pajamas. You'd think it would be comforting to be back in this yellow light and humid soap-smelling air, but it's the opposite, because I know what happens next. I watch a younger version of myself appear with baby Abigail in her arms. She speaks to Abby in a comforting coo, but I can see her eyes are like cracked ice. Something inside her brain has fractured and remains fractured still. She begins to undress the baby, and I launch myself at her. "Stop!" I scream. "Stop! Stop!" I shout as loudly as I can, but of course she can't hear me, and she can't feel my hands clawing at her, trying to keep her from hurting her daughter. My daughter. I scream and flail at the woman with my face. It looks like a mask, but I know it's real. And I think if I just focus intently enough, I will be able to penetrate her reality and keep Abby safe. But no matter how much I grab and shout, nothing in the yellow light world changes. She lowers the naked baby into the bath, and I stop fighting and melt away. I can't witness it again. Instead, I go to my bed and cuddle up to my son's cooling body. Chris has been dried and dressed in the soft rocket ship dressing gown I know so well. I look at his eyelids, his beautiful long eyelashes, and sweep his tender body into an intense embrace and weep into his shoulder. I weep and weep. And then a shadow appears at the foot of the bed, holding a limp, dripping body wrapped in a towel. I turn my back to the shadow, willing it to go away, but I know I can't deny her forever. After all, this house is the prison I built for myself. It's in my head, but it doesn't make it any less difficult to inhabit. The concrete world now, the real world, is a white room with gentle nurses and 3 meals a day and 3 bars on the window. I don't deserve the food, so I don't eat it. Hunger dread. I am unworthy of the comfort, the kindness. So I spend my days in this house with the children in the walls instead. The end.